Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. Just going to go over a number of charts that I brought up for the members in yesterday's playbook. Today is the 13th day of March, and in last night's playbook, I went over the US dollar futures index and explained that there were a number of setups that were looking really good for the major pairs and a number of other pairs. So just to give you an overview, US dollar futures index, I'm looking at it on the monthly time frame. I've drawn a trend line above the top, a trend line below the bottom, and what it's given us overall is a flat pattern in the five core Elliott wave patterns. We have a flat, and that's comprised of this type of movement. So the next move we would expect for price to continue back down. So this of course will take a while to play out, and so we'll see how that goes in the long term. Now we can go a little closer and take a look at this movement, and looks like we're going to come up against the top of our channel here and perhaps break through, but in any event we should be coming back down after that. So again, that's going to take a while to play out because we're on a monthly time frame. So another trend line I can put in is here, like that, like so. So again, in the short term, price would more than likely come back down to challenge that trend line. Okay, so dropping down to the weekly time frame, we see the current movement, big drop down to support area, and then this big push to the upside. Okay, so on the daily, now we really see the pattern. Big drop, big push back up. So this move up is basically a retracement of the move down. However, we usually expect a retracement to be within 62%, in that area. But in this case, it looks like it's gone well over 78%, 79%. It's gone up a little higher, and that's fine. Okay, so now we'll drop down to the 4-hour, and we're going to start to see the pattern unfolding. Okay, so at this point now we can see our pattern, and this is looking at our structure, and so that's what's going on, and looks like maybe we might be very close to the end of this move to the upside. So we'll be looking for weakness in the US dollar futures index on its next move down in the new week to come. Dropping down to the 1-hour time frame, we then again see our pattern quite clearly. It consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves that move up to this move, back down, and then up. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern constitutes a 1, 2, 3 overall. Okay, because the 1, 2, 3 is always comprised of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. Okay, so that's why we get that movement. So that will be our 1. This is our 2. This takes us up to our 3. This takes us up to our 4. This takes us up to our 5. In Elliott wave, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's what that is. This is for us, this is a 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's what we're looking at, and we can put the wave calc on that, and we can see where targets would be overall. So once you kind of get an idea of what the chart is doing, we can then project out where price will more than likely go to, and you can see we have reached the first set of targets in the third wave. At this point, it came back down and formed a new 1, 2, 3 at this point. So this is what I was pointing out in the playbook, that we were sitting right here, and I had a member asking whether this was finished and would be going back down and so forth, but I felt that we weren't complete, and we would continue up, and this would provide anyone playing the major pairs with some really good opportunities to make some pips. So you can play any of the base pairs: Aussie, Euro, Bitcoin, GBP, New Zealand, uh, even the gold against the US dollar. Okay, so since US dollar has strength, one of the best pairs would be the Euro US dollar, because that one is going to be doing the exact opposite. So it's easy to understand. If the US dollar is doing this, then gold is doing this, or gold and euro is doing this. Sorry, gold is more than likely doing that as well, and euro definitely will be doing the complete opposite of what the US dollar is doing. So in that sense, you can jump into the US dollar. Now the other pair is Aussie, the euro, GBP, and New Zealand will also be doing the opposite if they are weaker than the US dollar. Okay. All right. So I called this last night. This was the play opportunity to go in. So on the looking at the pairs, the major pairs, Aussie US dollar, we have on the daily big huge drop down on the 4 hour, still coming down. And at this point, we have a 1, 2, 3 top on the 4 hour. So that's a play to the downside. But since price was sitting right here last night, we're looking for 1, 2, 3 tops right in this circle on the lower time frame to jump into to play to the downside. So I called these and said, okay, if you need to be patient, wait out a 1, 2, 3 top, and then that will be your play to the downside. Okay. Now, if you still can't see it on the 1 hour, you drop down to a lower time frame. So let me just highlight this area, and then we'll drop down to the lower time frame, 30-minute, or even the 15, where you see it even better. And at that point, now you would look for your 1, 2, 3 to enter. So there's a 1, 2, 3. You might have entered on that one, and that's fine. You put your stop above. You can do a sell stop, or you can do a limit order. So let me just show you. Wave calc, put R1. We're just saying that you decided to enter at that point. Okay, that's okay. Your stop would again be above or above number 3 point if you've waited to see this. Your targets can be here or here or here, or even to the lower one. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. All of them were hit. Okay, so it's just a matter of for you what the amount of risk is that you're willing to take, and if you're willing to stay in that trade to the targets. Okay, so if you decided that that was not the 1, 2, 3 for you at that point, then you could play the 1, 2, 3 at this point, and that's a valid 1, 2, 3 as well. And if we looked at it on a lower time frame, and I'm going to highlight it again, highlight this 1, 2, 3 right here, you'll see on the 5-minute time frame that it is a complete 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, completing 5 waves. So that whole thing becomes a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's how that works. And if you decided, okay, maybe I just wanted to enter on that one, then you could just enter the same way you did on the larger one. If you decided you wanted to enter on this one, you could do the same thing again. Your stop is here and your entries are in here. Or you could do a sell stop, or you could do a sell stop. Okay, you do limit orders as well. If you decided to enter just on this one, same thing. Stop above, entries, and again, sell stop, and then you're in to down to your targets. Okay, if you decided to use the entire movement for your 1, 2, 3, then your stop is either here or it can be there, or it can be there, and your entries again are limit orders or sell stop. And then you're on your way again. If you want to get really technical about it, we say we entered on this one. You can then, for an entry, use your number 3 point, which is this bar. When price breaks that bar, that's a market order. You'd go in at market, and then you're down to your targets. So lots of opportunities to enter this position to the downside. Okay, so that's just the Aussie US dollar. Okay, so let's take a look at the Euro US dollar. So the Euro US dollar, remember, is doing the exact opposite of what the US dollar is doing. So here I've marked the 1, 2, 3 already. There's a 1, 2, 3 top right there, and that would have been the play. So you can see that this 1, 2, 3 is exactly the opposite of what the US dollar was doing on that chart I just showed you. Okay, so that was the key right there. So that opportunity, if you got into that trade and say we did a limit order at 55%, you could go to the first target for 80, 86, 87 pips. That's beautiful trade. If you went to the middle target, you'd pick up over 100 pips. If you went to the third target, you pick up over 116 pips. So this is the whole beauty of the 1, 2, 3. This is the 1 hour time frame. Okay, you don't need to. You could of course do it. You can do it on the 30-minute. You can see, you'll just see the pattern more clearly at that level. Okay, you know it's the same thing, or you could use that one. Okay, and the same exact opportunity to take that trade. Okay, it's just that you're on a lower time frame. Okay, you could even go to the 15-minute. It's the same concept. 1, 2, 3 there, the 1, 2, 3 there. If you decide to use this 1, 2, 3, then your number 3 point is here. Okay, your number 1 point is here. Your number 2 point is here. So you can enter with sell stops. You can enter by a break below the number 3 bar. You can enter with a sell stop, and then you're down to your targets. Okay, so if you just used the last 1, 2, 3 right there, just like I showed you, redo that. So if you just used that 1, 2, 3 here, you can see again that you could use a 55% entry, you could use a 70% entry, you could use a 44% entry, you could use a break below the number 3 bar, which is right about 62%, or you could use a sell stop. In either case, whichever one you use, let's say we use that one right in the middle there. This is just a break below the number 3 bar. You could then take it to the first target for 70 pips, or down to the second target for 81 pips, or down to the third target for 94 pips, 93 pips, just like that. Okay, so that's the beauty of the 1, 2, 3. Okay, now just show you the GBP US dollar. So just to show you that all these were setting up, these were opportunities that I pointed out in last night's playbook. So GBP USD was sitting there, 1, 2, 3 there, another 1, 2, 3, and then the move down. Okay, so ideally you want to catch the first one and get into that trade in here, or use a sell stop. And again, you're down to your target. Let's take a look at New Zealand US dollar. Same thing. Okay, New Zealand US dollar on the 1 hour time frame. It's there's a large 1, 2, 3 here. There's another 1, 2, 3 here. This is where these are, from previous days, but what we were looking at last night was just in here, and this is just a 1, 2, 3 here, and that's the move to the downside. I I used this, traded this one, and picked up over $1,200 just on that move. Okay, so it's all doable. Okay, the trade that I want to show you, the last trade I did before the end of the day today, was on the CAD Japanese yen. Now I was just sitting around looking at the charts, and on the 1 hour time frame, noticed the CAD Japanese yen was right in this area, and decided, okay, I see what's going on with this chart. Let me see if I can catch some pips real quick. And so I dropped down to the 15-minute time frame and saw this 1, 2, 3 develop. At that point, I was looking to enter with on the retrace. So let me just put the 1, 2, 3 back on so we can see the retrace values. And I was looking to, okay, for a retrace value of 55%. Unfortunately, as I'm watching this bar moved up very quickly. It came down and moved back up very quickly, so I missed the opportunity. So what I did was I just entered right above the number 3 bar. So as soon as I put a buy stop above that bar, so as soon as price broke above that bar, I was in. It then took off, dropped back for another opportunity for another entry if you wanted to, and then again took off and almost got to the first target. At this point, I decided, okay, I'm taking profit. So this blue line here and this blue line, that's my entry. This is my exit. This is a total of, I believe, 87 pips. So let's see. So from there to, yeah, 86, 87 pips. I jumped in with 6 lots and came out with $3,265. And this was in a matter of an hour and a half. Okay, if I go to the 30-minute chart, I'll make this bigger so you can see. So there's the 1, 2, 3. There's the entry. There's the exit. Just before, you notice price came back down and did not make it to the first target. So it was getting late in the day, and I thought, okay, getting in here 30 minutes, 1 hour, an hour and a half, very close to target, I'm out. And that was it. I just decided to take the profit, and it dropped back, and it did not make it back up again. So that was a good trade in that sense. Okay. If it was a Thursday or a Wednesday or Tuesday, Monday, I would have probably stayed in because I know that this is going to continue going up. Okay. So because we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom, we know it's going to get to those targets. But Friday afternoon, it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, time to take the profits and go. Okay. So just showing you that once you see a 1, 2, 3 anywhere on the chart, especially if it's at the bottom, this is the ideal spot. This is the one you want to take. If you miss that one, you can jump on the next one. Okay, it's right there. If you miss that one, you got 3 opportunities in this one before price left. Okay, those 3 opportunities create our structure. So this entire move is in itself a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's a 1, 2 in Elliott, and then we move up to the third wave. This is our number 3 point. This is our number 4 point. So I saw this and knew that I was at number 4, and if I could get in, and of course prices had already moved up. I'm just looking for this retrace now, and then hope, trying to get into this area. That would have been ideal. A lot more pips. That would have given me, well over 100 plus pips had I made it. Had I gotten in at 55%, that would have given me 126 pips, a lot more cash. But unfortunately, I missed it. So, but that's the beauty. This is a beautiful 1, 2, 3 here. And the structure, you can see our structure overall. And this is the play. Okay. So to the members, again, during the week, we had the 3 workshops. I pointed out all these trades, the setups, and unfortunately, I cannot take the trade for you. So you have to take the initiative to see these opportunities and to jump into these trades. The worst case scenario is your risk. So had you decided to take this trade today, your risk is your that's it. That's all you have to do is to have your risk. So if you decide that you're entering here and you put your risk stop at 20 pips, then that's your risk. Now you can take the opportunity to take the trade because you're going to get 80 plus pips, 50 plus pips in that move. So that's your risk. This is all you have to be worried about. So don't be afraid to take the trade when if your risk is in your what you want to what you're comfortable with losing, then you take the trade. Okay, so cannot stress that enough. All right, so that's just a quick look at what you can do with the 123, and you can just stay with this, stick with the 1 hour time frame like I show you, and your entries are below the 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, even down to the 1 minute. You can enter on these 123s and make pips. All right, so profitable trading to everyone. We're done now. Thank you.